We got a rainy, stormy, drizzly Father's Day this morning. I'm actually here in Ohio fishing a tournament with my dad. We're hoping the storm's gonna lay off, but I'm not so sure that's gonna happen. So we might be raining for the first few hours a day. Basically, it's just a bass tournament. We're bringing in our best 5. I think there's about 50 boats in this one. I'm gonna try to keep a GoPro running the whole time, and we're just gonna see how the day goes. Start time 6 o'clock right now. Check in at 2:30. Well guys, unfortunately, that's all you're gonna see from that tournament. This video was supposed to be a really cool like Father's Day theme type video. My dad and I drove down to Ohio late Saturday night to go fish this tournament on Sunday for Father's Day. Yeah, well first off, I'm filming this it's Monday morning. I'm filming this now because I filmed this yesterday, and for whatever reason my mic wasn't plugged in, something. The audio just wasn't there. So how this tournament went down, well first of all, it was pouring rain and super windy. This is what it was like. Gonna be starting off the morning. I want a frog, but this isn't really froggy weather. Then once the tournament started, all the little disasters started to play into effect. Our trolling motor was dead in the first 10 minutes or so. I clicked it up to 70. I was like, Dad, this trolling motor's not working. And then I went it to 100. I realized it was just very weak. We hadn't used the boat in a while. We overestimated the strength of the batteries. The trolling motor was just, it was dead. Even when we were going against the wind at 100, we were still going backwards. So for maybe 20 minutes, all we did was we went down the bank with the wind and just directed us with the trolling motor. And that was really it. We had no chance to go into like the lily pads, stuff like that. We were basically stuck. But you know, we're troopers, right? We're gonna stick it out. We're gonna stick the tournament out. Even if we have a weak trolling motor, we're just gonna motor around places, maybe stay in protected harbors. And then the engine started giving us a hot alarm button. And keep in mind, it's pouring rain while all of this is happening. So the trolling motor's not working. The engine was giving us hot alarms. Basically, if your engine isn't pissing, if the water pump and all that isn't working, then your engine's gonna get hot because the water is the coolant. The engine was spraying out water just fine, but it kept giving us a hot alarm. We think a sensor is screwed up or something, but the engine basically went into safe mode, and all we could do was idle with it, and then it would shut off after like a minute or two of idling. So we were on the other side of the lake from our launch. We had basically no trolling motor and no engine. So, and this was maybe only an hour into the tournament. The only thing that we could do was we just trolling motored and putzed over to the nearest ramp. Good thing we were near a ramp. My dad actually had to hitch a ride with some nice people that drove us to the other side of the lake. We drove the car and trailer over to where the boat was, and then we just kind of had to go home. No tournament for us, but I will be fishing a big FLW tournament there this weekend. A BFL is a boater, so I'm going to get revenge on that place. That is not the last tournament video you guys are going to see. But after that, we took an extremely long drive home through traffic. I got home at maybe 6 o'clock. I could have either quit for the day, but I decided to hop on Google Earth, look at some ponds near my house, and go fish one and explore, and that's the video you guys are about to watch. So I know I hyped up the fun Father's Day tournament with my dad. It just didn't happen. I don't want to dwell on it. I don't want to be negative, but it just wasn't in the cards for that day. But tournament video next weekend, that should be really fun because I've wanted to do one of those videos for a while. So enjoy the pond video. All right, so like I said, my ponds are dust now. So I picked this pond. It's maybe 5 miles from my house off Google Earth. Look, throwing some pond staples, a frog, and a chatterbait. I can see some things boiling right there. We're just gonna do some recon right now, and I can see some little bass. That's a good sign. We're just gonna start with some recon. Probably gonna have to move ponds because, like I said, my ponds are. There's some big bass in there. Come on, saucy gal. Oh, there it is. Like I said, always cast from a distance. This is a good first fish at the new pond. Sweet. Wow, this fish is hot. Water in the ponds are getting to the 80s already, it feels like. That fish was in inches of water right in here. Like, look at this. All that is inches of water. This might be another little honey hole. I'm telling you guys, put in the work in Google Earth and you can find some saucy little ponds. This isn't a huge one. That's maybe a 2-pounder to start the day off. I had to put him in just a little deeper of water. Look at that. He's in so shallow of water, his back's out of the water. Nope, that way. That way. Pond exploring is one of my favorite things. I know some of you guys have to fish the same old ponds because you just don't have that many options, but if you're blessed to have a lot of ponds near you, it is so fun to continuously explore and fish new ponds and figure out which ones are good, which ones are dust. My ponds that I've fished the last like 7-8 years, most of them are pretty dust right now. They're pretty garbo. So now I gotta find some new ones. I'm not gonna be home in Chicago for too long, but I think it's enough time to figure out some new ponds. And I gotta catch some bass today after the brutal circumstances that my father and I were granted this morning. Got him. Oh, thought I had him. Swing and a miss. There's a lot of bass in this tiny little cut. I mean, I'm talking about this whole thing is less than a foot of water. I mean, I'm talking about some skinny water. Oh my, there's swirling fish everywhere. They're attacking these minnows. Oh, there's a good one. Here's one of the culprits chasing bait. Okay, not a good one. Sorry guys, I'm just not used to catching bass on frogs yet. It'll come. These are just small ones, but they're getting it really good. They're getting the nose piercings. That's how you know they're eating it well. Sucking it in right in the roof of the mouth. Oh, this was the best decision I've made in a while. It has been a rough day. I have already been up for, oh, what time did I get up this morning? I got up at 4:45 Eastern. It's now 7:30 Eastern. It's been a long day so far, but catching fish on top in a new pond. I found myself another little honey hole, looks like. If I can get a big one, this will be a fun pond. Oh my God, this is so awesome. They are crushing this frog. Oh, this is a bigger one. This is a lot bigger of one. They are schooling back in here chasing bait. Come on, buddy. You are an ugly, skinny post-spawner. I think we're just getting to the time of year in Illinois when these fish are finally done recovering from the spawn. They're trying to feed up. They're getting real aggressive on top. Whew, there we go. Ugly little skinny post spawner. I was debating whether to go fishing or not. The answer is always go fishing. I mean, I've caught how many just right here in this tiny little cut that's, again, like a foot of water. And I can see them all waking towards the frog. That's the most fun part of frog fishing. When you can see them going after it, the big shark fin, the wake. Now, if these were actually big fish, you'd see a much bigger wake, but since it's only a foot of water, those little 2-pounders can get a pretty good shark fin wake going on. Oh my God, that was so cool. This is even bigger than the last one, I think. This is incredible. That fish, I don't know if you guys could see that. Another big one. I could, like I've been talking about this whole time, I could see the wake right next to it. This fish located the frog. There was a big wake. The fish went right next to the frog, so I saw the wake. It went right behind the frog. Bye, buddy. He went right next to the frog. He was sitting there. Frog was still. I twitched the frog once. Oh, this is freaking awesome. Let's get more. If there's that many, there has to be even more. There's a lot of bait in here. I think they've pushed, see all the, you probably can't see, but there's a bunch of bait just went flying. And I think they're chasing bait. They might have pushed a lot of bait back in this cut. I don't know what they're doing, but there's a lot of really aggressive bass in here. The answer is always to go fishing. No matter the type of day you had, the answer is to always go fishing. There's one nosing on it. There he is. Like clockwork. There's one nosing on it. I've got the bite on these fish so dialed in. And it's just a bunch of nice, healthy fish. They're just skinny post spawners. Like, these are all 60 to 18 inch, very, very good pond fish for Illinois. If there's a bunch this size, there's got to be some bigger ones hanging around, you'd think. They're all chasing bait, feeding up. Gracias, mi amigo. Happy Father's Day. This fish just slurped the frog at the surface. Let's see if it bites again. They're pretty aggressive. Oh, wow, that was brutal. Oh, no. Oh, this is when fishing a frog is its most fun. When these fish are this aggressive. Second that frog landed, toilet bowl. Toilet bowl explosion. Who doesn't love a good toilet bowl? Come on, let's go. 3 times the charm. I got hooks in him that time. I don't think he's gonna bite again. Testing its aggressiveness. Yeah, no, he's not having it. That was another good fish. Oh my God, look at that. Watch this, I'll catch him. They are scorching bait over there. Has he got it? It's a little guy. This is insane. I'm in like the middle of a feeding frenzy. I don't even know where to cast. God, the other day all these pond fish were being so finicky. Now they've turned on. Oh, he missed it. This is insane. I have not had to move off my starting spot on my first pond. I think I got lucky during like a big time feeding frenzy, but it never hurts to go explore new waters. All right, outside of that shallow little arm, this pond is a nasty mud bowl that doesn't have anything. All those fish were pushed up bait in the shallow weeds, so that corner looked good, like the same place where I caught fish, like the same type of structure. This all looks terrible. I mean, it's just mud. I'll just take a lap around the lake, fish the little shallow areas. I don't even think I'm gonna have to fish another pond. I'm gonna run out of time fishing this one. Good deal. In an unexpected turn of events, there's 2 other anglers that were hidden on that shore of the pond. This is all like public park. That's all people's properties, backyards on the lake. And to be frank, I don't really want to mess with that. But above all, Mama Bulaw's got dinner waiting, got food, so I'm really hungry. I'm gonna wrap up this day, but if I can leave you guys with one thing after this video, one thing would be to always try to turn your day into a positive. I was more frustrated this morning than I have been in a very long time because my dad and I had a great chance to win that tournament. Just factors outside of our control stopped us from doing that. What should have been a 4-hour drive turned into an 8-hour drive because of the traffic. But I kept my head up, stayed positive, realized there's nothing I could do to change it, tried to keep moving on, went pond fishing and got on an amazing frog bite in a tiny little section of the pond. So that's a W in my book. The day is a W because I ended it in some good frog fishing. As always, thank you for watching, and remember, always go fishing. Fishing's always the answer. Let me see if I can catch that fish again. Come on, eat it on the drop. Eat it on the drop. Eat it on the drop. Oh, I get no love from the fish either.